session of 2 of questions and answers. I'm your host, Amjad Muhammad, and I'll be with you for the next 20 minutes or so, dealing with your questions, your queries, and your curiosities. As I said, I will share a number with you. The number is 01274 214299. That's 01274 214299, and you'll get through straight into the studio live here from Bradford on top of Manchester Road. And if on the other hand you wish to email, then it's amjad.muhammad, that's amjad.mohamamed at alkhair.org. So please do get your calls in nice and early. We'll have plenty of time, inshallah, to answer them. Similarly, if you prefer to email, then by all means, please do email, and we will deal with those questions as well. This is obviously the last session for the week before we depart and return next week with more questions and answers. And as we know, Ramadan is fast approaching because if I'm not mistaken, Monday may be the 1st of Rajab, okay? And then it's Rajab, Sha'ban, Ramadan, okay? So we're not too far away, just 2 months, potentially 63, 64 days or something like that, when inshallah ta'ala Ramadan will start, and then we need to prep and see what we can do for this new year, this new month, maximize our reward, try to get into our, increase the deeds in our books, see if we can get ourselves in a good position at this, with this Ramadan. So when we leave this Ramadan, we are stronger, better, more knowledgeable, more equipped than when we entered it, inshallah. So yes, 2 months. We will be sitting down, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the 26th tonight of Jamadul Thaniya, and then 27th, 28th, so that'll be 28th. Is it 26th? Let me just double check. I'm getting confused now. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. Sorry, it is the 27th. Yeah, I thought as much. And then it will be the 28th night on, yes, and then inshallah, we'll be looking at Sunday for the moon for Rajab, and potentially Monday could be the 1st of Rajab, and then like I said, Rajab, Sha'ban, and then it's Ramadan. So it's come quick, 2 more months to go. The excitement mounts, alhamdulillah. Anyway, whilst the excitement is mounting, the number 01274 214299. And whilst we wait for our callers to call in, let's deal with some more questions that we have on our network of Markazul Ifta wal Qada. And the next question is, Assalamu alaikum. Dear respected Mufti Sahib, as we know the ruling regarding smoking, which is haram as it harms the body, some people do qiyas on the example of junk food, as eating junk food will also harm the health. So is that haram? What would be the answer to that? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. When it comes to smoking, obviously smoking is not a form of nourishment. It's not a form of getting energy into your body. It is not a form of sustenance. Smoking is an addiction. It's the tobacco that we get in, and it's obviously for the impact on the effect it has on our mind, on our brain. And therefore, there is nothing to gain from it. Junk food in itself does not harm your health. I don't understand what you mean by junk food. If you mean by junk food, and I think this is an inappropriate term because food should not be called junk. If you mean by this type of food, you're talking about fried food like burgers and chips and things like that, then there's nothing wrong in eating burgers and chips. It's not haram to eat burgers and chips, so therefore it's absolutely fine to eat them. The issue comes obviously is when you eat excessively, and eating excessively is haram. So that's not an issue. And also eating something excessively and obviously being overweight, giving yourself illnesses like heart diseases, other illnesses because your weight is too excessive and your organs can't cope with your excessive weight, then yes, these things do become haram. But that's not just through the means of eating, I don't want to use the word junk food, but that's not just through the means of eating fried food. That can come through eating anything, any type of food. The only thing is eating too much. So anything can become bad for you if you eat too much. So salt, okay? Salt, we know that, food would just not taste the same without salt. But if you eat too much salt, then that's not good for you. Sugar, we know food just doesn't taste the same without sugar. But eating too much sugar is not good for you. Chips, if a person has chips, how can that be a bad thing if he's eating it once a week or twice a week, but, using it in the oven, trying to avoid the fried ones. And even if he eats the fried ones, but he's maintaining his diet in such a way that he's working out. I know somebody, I won't mention his name, who eats fried food every day for lunch. Every single day he has fried food, whether it's fish and chips, chicken and chips, fish butty, whatever. But alhamdulillah, he goes to the gym on a daily basis and he works out for an hour, hour and a half at the gym. And he's in good shape, alhamdulillah, because all the calories that he's putting on by eating that food, he's burning at the gym. So, and in fact, and like I said, he's in good shape, he's muscular, he's athletic build, and that's because obviously he's working out. So again, it wouldn't be, but no matter what you do, no matter what you do, if you're smoking, it's bad for you. That's the problem. Going for a jog and you smoke, it's not going to help you. It's not going to sort of, you can't take more cigarettes now because you're going for a jog in the morning. So it's qiyas ma'al farik, as the ulama will say. It's an incorrect qiyas. Assalamu alaikum, my dear respected ulama and dear elders and everyone in this group. I am Usman ibn Ahmad, currently working in Ingelheim. Looking forward to be in touch with you and would like to seek as good information as possible. Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah, my father long back in the late 90s visited Frankfurt on an Islamic trip from Saudi and stayed there for around 40 days. Maybe some of those elderly Muslim shuyukh and akabir might still be alive, inshallah. As I'm new to Germany, would surely love to personally connect to such mentors who can guide me and make me and my family move closer to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? And that's not a question, so ignore that. Let's move on to the next one. Assalamu alaikum. Is it lawful to work in an insurance broker company dealing with things such as car insurance and house insurance? Okay. So we have dealt with insurance many times in the past. Now, insurance, as we know, the standard commercial insurance that's available from the high street is impermissible because it is not a cooperative insurance. It's an insurance which is of a financial nature, in that there is going to be gharar, there's going to be deception, there's going to be fraudulent behavior, in the sense that you do not know that when you enter into that transaction what you're going to get in return. So what you do is you pay monthly payments, yani £100, £200 a month, say, let's call it £100 a month. So you're paying £100 a month for 12 months, so you've paid £1,200. Now, in exchange for that £1,200, you might get nothing. Okay, fair enough. Or you might write your car off, or you might have a fire in your house and you get paid out £10,000. Now, you've given 1,200 and you've got 12,000. So that transaction is impermissible, because this is a transaction of money for money. There's nothing in between. You're transacting by giving money to them and they are giving money in return. So therefore, you're getting more money than you gave. And this is the whole definition of riba, to get more money than you give. So therefore, if you are part of the process of selling that insurance, then obviously it becomes impermissible. If, on the other hand, you are just there, for example, on the call center, or, typing things up or whatever, as long as you are not the shahid of the waghaira, then there is some scope. However, the problem then comes is majority of your wages are coming from the insurance premiums anyway. So it's an area that should be avoided, as has been mentioned previously. Okay, so let's jump on to the next question. My dear respected ulama, a quick question: is there a confirmed halal meat in Germany which we can eat without hesitation? There is a shop near me in Ingelheim owned by a brother from Lebanon, Maghrib. They sell halal meat too, and they provide Turkish Frankfurt Islamic certificate. And so, who should we believe in, and what's your opinion? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brother, it's very difficult for us here in the UK to give a fatwa with regards to the halalness or otherwise of meat being sold in Germany. I would say if you could reach out to the German ulama, and they will be able to better guide you. Sometimes, obviously, we're not supposed to have an answer for everything. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has an answer for everything. We're human. So we're limited by the capacity of our learning and the capacity of our intellect. Now, as a person who's lived in Bradford all his life and never traveled to Germany, and definitely not to a place called Ingelheim, wherever that is, how am I supposed to know what the methodology of halal is there and isn't? So therefore, this is also a sign of ilm, that a person who does not know something about something should not just give an answer and should say that I don't know. That is half of knowledge, because there's some things which you do know, and that's 50%, and there's some things which you don't know, and that's 50%. So half of ilm is saying I don't know, or recognizing that you don't know. Sometimes we have a habit of trying to answer everything, and that cannot be correct, because there must be some things you don't know. And the fact is that because you're answering it, that means you don't know that you don't know. Whew. Going to a little bit of a conundrum there. Anyway, let's carry on. Assalamu alaikum. Suppose a couple just got married. Are the parents of the groom and the parents of the bride maharim to each other? If not, what kind of hijab are they expected to uphold with each other? Number two, the couple has just had the nikah, not yet the walima rukhsati. If the husband travels to visit his wife at her parents' house for less than 14 days, will he be considered muqim because he's visiting his wife's home, or will he remain a musafir? Any clarification on these would be greatly appreciated. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If a couple marry, then the relationship of the father-in-laws, yani the groom's father and the bride's mother, or the groom's mother and the bride's father, then they are still ghair mahram. Just because their children are married does not impact on their hurma status. So they are supposed to abide by the normal rules of hijab. So that should be the normal rules of hijab. So there's no difference there. The couple have done the nikah, but the walima has not been done. Either case, because the wife, as yet, she hasn't done rukhsati, so her place of stay is her watan asli, as it's referred to, is her parents' home for now, because she's not moved into her husband's home. And the husband's own house, whether he's still going to stay with his parents or whether he's going to have his own house, that is his watan. So just because he travels to his wife's house or his in-laws' house, because it's not his wife's house, it will be his wife is living with her mother and her father, so most likely it will be her parents' house. So her parents' house does not become a watan for him. So if he's going to stay there for less than 15 days, then he will be a musafir. His status will not change to become muqim. Last couple of questions. I'm just going to remind you of the time. We've got a few minutes left now, so if you do have some questions that you are burning to get an answer to, then now is the time to make that call. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, is it permissible to run a property business using HMO, homes with multiple occupancy licenses? This entails renting a property from a landlord, dividing the house into rooms and then letting out the rooms individually, for which you require HMO license. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. From the description in your question, it seems to be suggesting that you are subletting something that you have got on rent. So as I understand it, you have a landlord, and from the landlord you have this huge house. And so what you've decided to do is split this up into multiple occupancy and basically take on board tenants for each of these separate rooms, apartments. So from an Islamic perspective, yani you have the lease, and if there are no restrictions put onto that lease by the owner, then there's no harm in that. And if from the legal perspective of the country you are in, that you can do this and you can get the homes with multiple occupancy license, then there should be no issue there. If the Sharia, as long as there's no stipulations in the arrangement that you have with the landlord, then the Sharia will not comment on it. And from a legal perspective, as long as you don't have any specific legal situation by having this license, then there should be no harm with it. Last question, and that is, Assalamu alaikum. If a person has braces on their teeth that can't be removed, how would they do miswak? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If a person has braces on their teeth, then there's nothing wrong in doing miswak. Obviously, if the dentist has said that don't rub your teeth too viciously, then you should do it lightly. You should not be, using it roughly. And I think it's good common sense anyway to do it carefully. Sometimes what we do is we use the miswak and rub it on our gums. And what that can do is that can push the gums back and start to make the teeth foundations bare more. And that can be dangerous in terms of your teeth can start to fall out. So we have to be a little bit careful that we don't go crazy and start, absolutely scraping our teeth. But do it gently so that it doesn't cause any harm to us. And if that is the case with the braces, then it should be done in such a way that the braces aren't damaged or removed. But it's best to ask the dentist that, may I use the miswak on this gently? And if he says yes, absolutely, then there should be no problem. And that, brothers and sisters, gets us to the end of the questions for today. Alhamdulillah, we do have a question that seems to have come in. Yes, but this we've just run out of time now for this question. So we've only got a minute or two left. So what we're going to do, inshallah, is we're going to ask you that we wish you all the best. Make dua for us. We're going to depart in less than a minute. And we will be returning, inshallah. When I say we, I mean the collective we of questions and answers on Monday. Same time, same place. So do please tune in. As for me, I will be with you, inshallah, on Wednesday. Assuming I get here in time. I recall this Wednesday was a right saga, a right palaver, as they say. But anyway, I'm hoping and expecting to be here with you, inshallah, next Wednesday. So jazakumullah khairan for tuning in. I hope that it has been of some benefit for you. If it has, make dua. And if it hasn't, make dua anyway. And I will try to remember you all in my duas as well. Till next week, inshallah, I wish you all the best. Have a useful weekend. Do get some preparation in. As I said, Rajab is around the corner. Start to get some ideas now as to what you're going to do in Ramadan. Start making a list, making a timetable. Start preparing for it. The person who prepares benefits most. Till next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.